Mm,
I'm Romani Abraham.
I'm Korienne Beasley.
My name is Mitchell Ford II,
Alberto Melchor.
and this is our Thrivent case analysis.
So, our conclusion about Thrivent's competitive advantage stems from its unique nonprofit status and faith-based mission, which are central to its brand identity. Thrivent also fosters the deep client loyalty through programs like Thrivent Action Teams and Choice Dollars, which allows clients to engage in charitable activities and community impact. Their strategy type is a combination of differentiation and niche focus. The company differentiates itself by its value-based programs like Thrivent Action Teams and Choice Dollars. Ultimately, this strategic position places them in the differentiation and niche quadrant.
Okay, so for the SWOT analysis portion, strengths and weaknesses, this is the internal components of the organization. So the strengths, community outreach. As you can see, in 2023, there was roughly $400 million reinvested into communities. $500 is available as quote unquote care packages for each client to give back to the community each year. Um, and this is set up in two different um, avenues, right? So there's one set of $250 and another set of $250. They also have numerous licenses. So from a perspective of someone that might not know as much about financial things, I see that they have licenses, and that's very appealing. And someone I know individuals that do know a decent amount about finances, and having those licenses proves your knowledge and is an example of that knowledge, saying that you are a certain level, you hold yourself to a certain level of academia and understanding of the topic that you present to people. Also, the government can pay all clients 11 times over if they all filed at once. That's very reassuring to your clients. A couple weaknesses is little to no social media presence, less than adequate brand recognition. I say that as y'all come to the school and presented this, we see that not very many people had even heard of it, of Thrivent. So that's not to be that's not to be overlooked. But also at the same time, your strengths are so strong that you have been very successful, although you don't have brand recognition. And then limited marketing. So as you see from your numerous licenses, there are 6 to 7 layers of regulations due to your licenses that weakens marketing ability. As y'all mentioned in the meeting, that it takes roughly a couple of months before you could publish something on social media due to the number of licenses and regulations that creates hoops you have to jump through in order to get to that point. And that brings me to the next portion of the SWOT analysis. So this is the external components of the organization. So a couple opportunities would be to attract a wider customer base, specifically the middle class, right, and marketing communities that their customers are not already in. So with the care packages being available, a lot of times there will be certain communities that aren't marketed to. So that's a huge opportunity to expand, especially into the middle class, right? That's the quote unquote the backbone of America right there. So if you get in there, you can really broaden your base. A couple of threats is a lack of popularity among Christian-based organizations, as we see throughout time. Uh, People do shy away from Christian-based organizations, so that is a threat to the organization overall. Um, Now, that being said, I understand that it's a pillar that y'all stand on, but I'm just saying that is something that could potentially hurt you in the long run. And rivals having more social media presence, right? As y'all spoke about with Dave Ramsey, who doesn't have the credentials that y'all have and the licenses y'all have, but that's the primary threats right there.
So with the top three driving forces, starting with the tech trends, the digital banking is transforming client expectations, with 68% of the US adults now using these digital services. Thrivent will need to advance its digital offerings while bolstering cybersecurity to protect against the 25% of global cyber attacks that target these financial services. with 16.8 of Americans transferring over to social trends. With 16.8% of Americans over 65, the aging population drives demands for retirement planning. Thrivent values online services, making it well positioned to meet these needs. Additionally, with 43% of Americans lacking financial literacy, Thrivent can strengthen client relations through financial education. And then lastly, that brings us to the regulatory environment, which expanding data privacy laws and growing nonprofit scrutiny are creating new compliance challenges. Thrivent's nonprofit status requires careful adherence to regulatory standards, and protecting client data under evolving privacy laws is critical for maintaining this trust.
And we got the five forces. We have high barriers to entry. We have capital requirements and brand building challenges. We got established nation market, strong reputation, and faith-based communities, which deep customer loyalty. We got competitive advantage, economies of scale, and established partnership, create high entry barriers, and we got bragging power of suppliers. Got technology dependence, limited options for advantage digital in- infrastructure providers, and increased suppliers' power. We got talent, key resources, skilled person in finance and compliance hold the bragging leverage, and we got market influence. We got on capital market and economies conditions impact the profit, profitability, and we have the digital we have the silence demand seamless online experience established in financial services. We got options, many competitive options give silence high leverage in terms of pricing and customization need for presentation for personalization and based on service return customers loyalty within a competitive rate of subsidies. We got the finance platform. We got growth of self-direct financial management tools. We got raising of ETFs and low-cost financial products. We got face-based. We got competing face legend infection offers. We got similar values-based services. And we got industry rivals. We got intense competitive from large banks and civilized financial service firms. Differentiation through values, unique phase-based mission as a key differentiation, digital transformation, and digital finance, and remain competitive.
All right, so for the financials, we can see here on return on assets that over the past 3 years it has been going down, and it has been following the industry average. The industry has also been going down. And if we go to the return on equity, we could also see that these past 3 years, Thrivent as well as the industry, it has gone down. And if we can see market share has stayed pretty consistent over the past 3 years, although the share of the market for Thrivent is quite small, as we can see, is from 0.17 to 0.16. And then we have the current ratio and uh, the debt ratio. We can see that it's been pretty consistent for both of these measures. And this is comparing Thrivent as corporate headquarters. We know that for the region, as Mitchell said, that regionally you're able to pay your clients 11 times over. So I don't think the worries for the region or even for corporate are based on financials. I think the concerns are on the weaknesses. And so the concerns are uh, limited market reach, low brand recognition, public perception, and trust issues. So these are all kind of combined. I know that when uh, when we first got the case, the question was asked, "Who knows about Thrivent?" and nobody raised their hand. And when I researched Thrivent, one of the things that pop up is Thrivent legit? Is Thrivent a real company? So we can see that the perception is it's not there, and that's really hurting the company. And also another one is competitive pressure from larger firms. We know we saw from the market share that we don't have such a large market. So all these things are hindering the ability to get new clients and to get new financial advisors. So we came up with these three recommendations. Enhance social media presence. It is hard. We do know that there is a lot of regulatory compliance that has to go through, but we believe if we that we have to focus on that. We don't think there's another way to 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 assure the public that Thrivent is a real company or that they should use Thrivent. And the targeted outreach in the Bible Belt, focusing regionally, this is known as the Bible Belt. There are thousands of churches, and a lot of those churches are minority churches. So we do think that using new technology like AI, by translating to Spanish, to there's other languages like Ethiopian, there's Korean churches, there's a lot of those different churches. We know that the church is a big um, target for Thrivent, although it's not the only target. But if we want to stay, true to the company, we can do that and use that new technology. And another one is still the social media, but we want to focus on education. So through education, it just means people our age, specifically college age students, they sometimes don't know about finance, and this follows regulatory compliance, right? Whatever you teach your financial advisors is what you teach us as a public, and that's what and that builds a social media presence because people want to learn more about their finances, what they're doing with their finances, and they'll learn about thriving as a company, and they'll be more transparent. And that is our that is our presentation. So thank you very much.
I'm gonna make